Boom, we are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm Dr. Alan Snyder, here with one of my good friends, Liam Lynch.
Yo, what's going on? Happy to be here.
Yo, what's up down in the
What's
hood?
up? Yeah, I'm here.
Happy to have you. Now, I'm going to put a warning out right now for anybody listening to this. We are about to nerd out so hardcore to beer because Booze Your Daddy is also a play on words for booze, B-O-O-Z-E, and I love beer. I do. It's one of my favorite things. I like the smell. I like the taste. I met my match when I met Liam. Fair?
Oh, yeah.
Fair?
Oh, yeah. We met over beers at Roberta's.
I thought we met over shitty pizza at Roberta's, but if you want to say beers, shots fired. I couldn't wait to get that out. But yeah, we've hung out a couple of times on these great double dates, and we've always gone to places that have incredible beer lists, whether it was the trivia night that Sarah put together, whether it was Roberta's the pizza, whether it was in Greenpoint. We've always had this massive beer selection, and you're like me, you do not pick one. You don't go basic, I'm going to get the Bud Light or I'm going to get the whatever the cool thing. The Allagash White is the new like basic bitch beer because like it's not like, Bud Light, but it's also better than that. But it's a very starter beer, but you go one by one down the list. You try different things. I respect that because I do the same thing. I'll mix up some stuff in there. So I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate you coming on, and let's get into it.
Let's get into it. I've got a selection here. I mean, I'm starting with the basic because I feel basic today. It's very hot. So the summer shandy, right?
The summer shandy. Now, who is that made by?
Oh, I cannot pronounce it. It's German. Let me give it a go, and your listeners will hate me. Lingenkugel?
Very close. Now, I laugh because, we do our pictures where we post on our Instagram, Booze Your Daddy, BOOSYOURDADDY, and of course I'll tag you, definitely. And when we were doing this, you kind of said, like, is it Lingenkugel? And I was melting. I was chomping at the bit because the pride of Chippewa Falls is where it's made, and it is Leinenkugel, which is how you pronounce that. And that used to be one of my favorites. Now, I'm guessing you picked that out because you've heard me on the show say that I love shandies. Shandies are one of my favorites.
Yes.
That one happens to be just a little too sweet for me. It used to be my go-to shandy, and nowadays it's just a little bit, and sometimes I'll even mix it with something else to give it a little bit less sweetness. But it's a great shandy. It's super refreshing. They also make no less than 27 different flavors.
So they've got grapefruit. They've got like a Oktoberfest one that seemed intriguing.
Right. There's raspberry, black blueberries, schnozberries. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries pretty much. If there is a berry, if there is a flavor, Leinenkugel makes it. But the regular summer lemon shandy is a crowd pleaser, and it pleases my heart to see you have that beer.
And have you guys talked on the show about the origins of a shandy in Germany?
I have not. I'm all ears.
This is according to my coworker who is German, but it's I don't know of the exact cyclist, but there was a cyclist in Germany who ran out of beer, and so they poured lemonade in it, and it became like the cyclist, summer drink in Germany, and it's popular among athletes there. So I don't know.
Awesome.
That's what he tells me. Maybe that's wildly inaccurate.
I'll buy it. It's the same thing like, people say break a leg for when you're performing. Yeah. I've heard so many different origins of that. Like, well, it was because you're saying the irony of break a leg. Or there's some people say, oh, they used to, stamp their feet to make noise on the rafters for cheering. And I've heard that. The only thing I can tell you about Germans and their summer shandy is I went to Oktoberfest about 6 years ago where they had all this beer and they needed somebody to help out. And I volunteered as tribute to go do it because who better than me to help the Germans? And they have a Central Park there. So we went on this bike ride, and it's very just like Central Park we have here. And there was a couple choices this time at Oktoberfest. There was the regular, there was a dark beer. I think there was a Hefeweizen, and then they had non-alcoholic beer. And the non-alcoholic beer in Germany is a 4% shandy, which is hysterical because I think our shandies here are like 3.8% or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the fact that they're non-alcoholic beer. I mean, a Bud Light is like.
It was stronger than a Bud Light. They said, well, yeah, in case you're driving, you don't want to be, too drunk, but we drink Zelita with the 8% beer. You have the non-alcoholic beer. And it was hysterical. But they do it so amazing in Germany because the people there, they start drinking at such an early age. It's much more open. I was in Oktoberfest in Munich for about a week or so doing different things. We weren't always doing the Oompa Loompa tents all day. Wouldn't you know that in a week of people drinking, everybody is out of their mind, shit-faced drunk. There were 0 fights and there were 0 people puking, which was so surprising because in America, you can't go out on a Friday night anywhere without seeing one of those 2 things.
Yeah. No, is it us or is it something in the water here? I mean, we're mixing? I don't know. Wow.
That could be what it is. I had no idea, but it was very weird. And I don't know. So my beer, and I've been trying to get different beers and try.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
I've been trying new beers and I saw something and it had your name on it because it is made in Brooklyn at something called the Greenpoint Beer and Ale Company.
Yes.
And we've hung out in Greenpoint before. Of course, Julia used to live there. It's called Smash Street, and it is an extra pale ale, 6.2% alcohol by volume, but it has this cool little fireworky logo on it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So
that's perfect. I love that.
All right, well, let's crack these puppies and get it going, yeah?
All right, yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Cheers.
Cheers, l'chaim. Boom.
It didn't have that, that pop to it, the can pop.
The can pop is good.
Wasn't as satisfying.
Although when I had my one friend Oriana on, she had this bottle of gin where she popped the cork and it made like a thunk. And I was like, oh, as much as I like the opening of a bottle and the flipping of the can, the thunk was pretty good.
Super satisfying.
Yeah. It's a shame these days that I actually really like the term trump card because I grew up playing spades and the trump card is the ace of spades. And I love it. And nowadays when you say that like she trumped me or it was the trump card, it doesn't have a good meaning. So I can't say that anymore. So hopefully in November, we can go back to saying the trump card maybe.
We might.
That's my wish, I guess.
Have you guys talked about how, that sound when you open up, a beer can or a soda, that is in a lot of music these days. That's a sound effect in music.
Give me one song.
Justin Bieber, Intentions, or Do You Want to Come Over by Britney Spears. They all have that sound, soda pop opening. I can't unhear it in these songs.
I actually had called Las Vegas earlier and checked the sports book. They had set the over-under on 12 minutes before you made a Britney Spears reference. And it looks like the under is going to pay because it was 11 minutes into this podcast, basically, before you.
A big Britney Spears fan here. Big Britney Spears.
I'm well aware of this. I know about your and Sarah's love for Britney. Is it more you or her?
Her. I mean, she's got the tattoo. Hers started at a very young age. Mine was a little bit more into high school. So she's got me. She's the bigger fan. She met her, paid the $2,000 and the meet and greet to go stand with her for 2 seconds. And it was the best day of her life.
Wow. So at risk of a family member losing their medical license and at risk of Sarah hating me, I'm going to tell a funny Britney Spears story. So I have an uncle who is a professional dermatologist, and he got called up one time on some random Saturday forever ago when Britney was in town. It was Britney had a breakout, and she needs an immediate help. This is in Baltimore, Maryland, and she comes in with her massive bodyguard. He's in everything. Anytime she's ever had a cameo, just massive black guy. He's always there to protect her.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he didn't know who she was, but he called my sister, who was 12, 11 at the time, and said, come to my office right now. Get your mom to drive me up. There's somebody here I think you'll really like. And my sister went up there, and she got to take a picture with Britney Spears. And the best part of it is Britney, did her hair all differently. And then she quickly flipped it back to the way she normally does it to take a picture, but also to cover up the breakout on her forehead, which I didn't know about because, of course, it's medical HIPAA license. But there's still a picture, and she had a massive breakout. My sister got to meet her, take a quick picture with her without paying the $2,000. And
is that picture framed somewhere?
I think it's still hanging in my parents' house in my sister's room. My parents have their house still that we grew up in. I've been since I was 4, my sister since she was born. We both have our original rooms. And when you go home and use their house and use the bed, if you leave a sock on the floor, it will be there the time you go back 3-4 months later. My mom's not cleaning it. Nobody goes in the rooms. So I think my sister's room has been preserved since she moved out of the house, which was...
It's that time capsule.
It does have that. I mean, she still has like a shot glass collection, which is kind of funny because she's not the biggest drinker.
I do too. Yeah, it's behind me. A shot glass selection. I don't know why, never loved, liquor. Just what it is. That's what you do as a kid.
It definitely is. Now, you have a nice background because I love the way the house is, but I want to talk a little about the foreground because we were talking about this before we got on the podcast. You are decked out in watermelons.
Yes.
My
girlfriend got me this shirt, this Oxford shirt with watermelons all over it. And it's because we are obsessed with Harry Styles' song Watermelon Sugar this summer. And we've been jamming out to it pretty much every day. And it's just our summer theme song.
Can you sing me a bar of this? I don't know the song.
It's like, I'm a terrible singer, but let's say it's like, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high. Oh, and I like to create a whole dance move. It's great. It's great.
Well, I don't know if you can put it on TikTok anymore. You got to switch to the Instagram, right?
Oh, yeah. Reels, right? Reels
or something. Yeah, I've looked at it. It's pretty weird. So being such a beer nerd, beer snob, whatever you want to call it, which I love you for it, I want to hear about not your favorite beer because that always changes. I want to hear about your first beer or the first beer you remember or something like that because I have my own stories.
Yeah, the first beer, my dad, when I was like 3 years old, anytime he was responsible for, watching me at home, he would give me his Sam Adams and some crackers, like a couple swigs of it, and I always, so Sam Adams has that nostalgic, like, oh, dad's feeding me type of thing. I don't know if that was abuse or anything. And it wasn't, but, he was feeding me, Sam Adams and crackers. But no, Sam Adams, great. And I love the New England beers. But that wasn't really what got me into it. What got me into it, my all-time favorite, I'm a huge IPA fan. Double IPA. I like my beer down and dirty and ready to party, which means high ABV count. I like, 1 or 2, and I like to get buzzing. I don't want to have to drink like 5 to get going, But is Dirt Wolf by Victory Brewing.
Okay.
Their double IPA. It's like 8.7%. It's got 4 different types of hops in it, like Citra, Mosaic. It's just, the aromas are intense, delicious, and I love it.
Do they call it a DIPA?
Yeah.
Now, being
yeah.
the Sam, I'm being serious right now because the Sam Adams, you're originally from Mass, right?
Well, Connecticut, but yeah.
Connecticut.
And I went to school in Massachusetts, all New England. Yeah.
I'm going with the New England, like, Mass whole theme here, and please take that as a dig. So being a DIPA fan, the accent also up there, you don't have too bad of a DIPA kid on the Kana, right?
A DIPA? Oh, wow. Wow. That accent was perfect.
I'm working on it.
That was really good.
Thank
was
you.
really, really good.
I'm a wicked pisser.
Wow. Wicked pizza. Oh my God. I would say wicked. I mean, when I went to school in Massachusetts, it was just wicked every other word. Wicked, wicked good, wicked bad, wicked pissa.
So for anybody listening that doesn't know, obviously wicked is a very New Englandy thing, but you used it correctly. Not that I have any right to judge your accent, but I went out on a handful of dates years ago with this girl who was from somewhere up there, and we were talking about something. I said, "Oh my God, it's so wicked." And she stopped. She said, "No, it's wicked what?" I said, "What do you mean?" She was like, "Yeah, it was wicked." She goes, I said, it was a wicked time. She goes, "No, was it wicked good? Was it wicked bad? Was it wicked awesome?" People sometimes just say it was wicked, and that is incorrect. That is a red flag. You sound like an idiot. It has to be, it's an adjective. It's a wicked what? Then you used it correctly. So
yeah, it's got to be something. It's very whatever. It's like saying like, "Oh, that's very over there." I don't know what that means, right?
Exactly. So that's good that you use that there. I just got into the IPAs somewhat recently because I was a little bit of a basic bitch when it came to drinking beers. And as I expanded my palate, I became a wheat beer fan. And my first big one before it was super popular was Blue Moon. I was like, oh, Blue Moon is great. And they give you a little orange, and I would put that in there. And I would go to the German beer places and we'd have Hefeweizens, and those were really good. And the vanilla flavors and the banana notes, this. And I was just really into it. And then one day it just got too sweet for me. I don't know what happened, but it was very sweet. Now I couldn't do, I started ordering my Blue Moons and just don't put a orange in it. I don't want the orange. And I slowly started trying other things, but I was always no IPAs. Do never give me an IPA. I don't want an IPA. I went out on a date about 4 years ago, and I'm sitting with this girl, and she's very good looking, and she was very entertaining. But I knew 10 minutes into this date, it was not going anywhere past this date. But I would always try to make the best of times. And she was somewhat of a comedian, although I forget what she did for work. And she was telling me all these stories. And we got to this margarita place, and we had our margaritas. And I finished mine super quick. And she's stalling, and she's really not drinking. And the last thing we ever want to do on a first date, certainly online, is be like, baby girl, come on, bottoms up here. We got to get the party going here. And I'm never pushing that. So I started ordering other beers, and I was getting, right through the list of what they had of things that I like. And I am through my first beer, through my second, with the margarita under my belt. And she just finishes her margarita and goes, can I get a glass of red wine, please? And I was like, okay, all right. So this is happening. Now, she was not a nurse for real life, but she was nursing that wine forever. And the date was entertaining enough that I didn't want to say like, all right, this has been great, I got to go. But I kept ordering drinks. And then we got to the point that I said, in my head, I got to start ordering something that I don't like because I'm drinking these beers way too fast. Because I was enjoying the time, so I ordered some pale ale. I think maybe it was like an Arrogant Bastard. I think they make a pale ale.
Yep.
I think so. And I ordered it, and I started drinking, and I even like kind of braced myself for it. And next thing you know, I was, ooh, what? That was better than I remember it being. So finally, we wrap up, and I never spoke with her again. And I think her MO was more, well, nothing happened. We left the bar, went our separate ways. And I think her MO was more, she didn't drink, or she didn't like drinking, or she had a bad stomach, and she basically she wanted to go on dates. And I think some people know that certain guys are not going to date them, go out with them if they don't drink. And some people go and kind of fake it till they make it. And that's always the wrong thing, in my opinion. Somebody's going to love you for who you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And if they don't, because you don't drink or you don't do whatever, then guess what? Not your person anyway. Doesn't matter.
Totally.
So I now have this newfound love of pale ales, and I'm like Mr. Pale Ale. But I went away with my friends, and we got a pale ale sampler, and it came with an IPA. And I was like, get that shit away from me. I'm not drinking that. I don't do IPAs. And then I have to actually take you to a place. We have to go to Hoboken, which I used to live in. I've loved to death. I go there with two of my best friends. It used to be once a month, once every other month, because we can order. They don't have a kitchen. You order food from whatever restaurant you want, and then you go to a bar that legit has 50 craft beers on tap, and you've never heard of any of them. And you just get there. It's great. There's a couple places in the city that have maybe 20, 25, but it's when they run out, like that's it. There's no more, and you're done. So we go there, and we rotate. We try a ghost here. We try different types of stouts. It doesn't matter. They have cask beers that I'll take some lukewarm piss every now and then. So I went there, and I tell the bartender, like, hey, Mr. Bartender, I'd love to have a pale ale. And he goes, I know you want a pale ale, but can you just try this IPA? I said, no. No means no. I don't drink IPAs. He goes, here, dude, here's a free sample. Take this beer, try it. And I took a sip. And I was converted. It was a tropical IPA, and
So it was a little fruity. So it had some fruit there. Okay.
It did. The tropical IPAs are a gateway drug to people who like pale ales or wheats. And the weird thing I always got shit for is because wheat beers and IPAs, people think if you like one, you like the other. And I've always found they're the opposite ends of the spectrum, because as I've had more of a love for pale ales and IPAs, I've gotten away from the wheat beers. I just nowadays, I don't know, if I'm going to have a wheat beer, I'd just rather have a lager or something. If I'm going to have some plain, there's very few wheat beers. My only wheat beer that I really, really love is one of my good friend Josh, his girlfriend Heather, who's not a listener, but Josh, he is. Abita makes a strawberry wheat that's pretty delightful. So if you ever see that, I highly recommend it.
I'm all over. I love beer recommendations. It just gets me excited. I'm like, my friend, Loved it. I'm gonna have it. I have actually I had some IPAs that I want to feature here right now
Do
with
it.
me from
Okay.
Connecticut, since I'm in Connecticut at my parents' house, and we have two roads here: cloud sourced hazy juicy IPA, Stratford, Connecticut. Two roads, classic, can't go wrong. But also Stony Creek beer, really good beer. Also in Stratford, Connecticut, we have Cranky IPA, really popular in Mystic, Connecticut.
Mystic.
Also,
That's the pizza place, right?
yes, yeah, I'm 5 minutes down the road from, yes, that infamous place. The pizza, I love the pizza. I am in the minority. Everyone does not like the pizza. So are you a big pizza fan? You were hating on Roberta's a little bit earlier.
I was hating and hinting. To say I'm a pizza fan would be an understatement because when it comes to food, specifically sweets, if I got locked inside of a candy store, I might die of starvation. I mean, I think candy and sweets are okay. I don't love
I'm with you.
chocolate. I need more something else. Like I would never eat a Hershey Kiss or a plain M&M, but if you give me an M&M with a peanut in it or something like Reese's Pieces is my jam, Butterfinger, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I love. But with candy, that's not my thing. If you and I got a six pack of beer, any beer, and a large pizza, and you like went to the bathroom and weren't paying attention, you might come back to no food and no drink. I mean,
Gotcha.
I am I'm a sweet and savory, more the savory. Pizza is my addiction. If they had meetings, I would show up. Hi, my name is Alan. I am a pizza addict. I have a major problem. Any combination of carb, red sauce, mozzarella, I absolutely love. And
Yeah. Here's the thing. I feel so strong. I'm with you all so much that I don't trust people who don't like pizza. Like I'm weirded. I'm like, what has happened to you that you don't like that combination of food? I truly don't get it.
yeah, maybe it's a gluten-free thing is the only thing I can say.
The only reasonable excuse.
I really can't come up. I actually don't know anybody who doesn't like pizza. I know people that say they're trying to eat healthy. I know people that maybe like again the gluten thing, but I don't know anybody that's just like, I don't love pizza.
So are you saying that would be your last meal? Like if you were, on death's door or you were, given the death sentence, your last meal on earth would be beer and pizza.
So I've played this game enough. I actually have a choreographed answer, and I'm afraid we're not going to be friends after my three answers. So pizza is definitely one of them. Of course, this is too hard because you're like, oh, I just want pizza. But my other two, and people know me well enough, I love Olive Garden. Olive Garden 100% is going to be in my final three meals. The other one, and I don't care, is I would get a double fish fillet. I get the double because they don't make triples yet. As soon as they start making triples, I'll get a triple. The double fish fillet sandwich, so two patties on one bun, extra value meal at McDonald's. Like McDonald's is
Yeah.
still at the top. So those are my three. But again, gun to my head, I'm taking pizza from somewhere. I would go crazy. Of course, when you rank the pizzas, I have rankings of different places. Is that your last meal, Liam?
Pizza. Yeah, for sure pizza. But also I have to say I got to go back to like from Dairy Queen, I'd probably get a Reese's peanut butter cup like Blizzard. Just the combination of
Yeah,
ice cream and
I'm a Butterfinger Blizzard person.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, but so you would go pizza and Blizzard, and then after that combination, if you were getting the death penalty, you'd probably want to die anyway. So it's actually a pretty combination, right?
That is, I would want to die. I would not want to live after I've ingested all of that.
I heard on a podcast one, I don't know if it's for fact, so it may or may not be, but I think it was Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber. I think
Oh yeah.
his last meal was like 2 pints of mint chocolate chip or mint chip Ben & Jerry's ice cream, with the joke being if you ate 2 pints of that, you'd just want to die anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I think it was was executed in where I was born in Terre Haute, Indiana.
I
So
think
that was like
euthanized. I think euthanized might be the
euthanized. Yeah, euthanized. Yeah.
okay.
So
But when
yeah,
am
I
I?
believe so.
And you did know for a fact that is what, like, I heard it once. I was like, oh, okay. And that always has stuck with me. I'm very auditory. So when I hear something, I remember where I was when I heard it. And every time I'm at that subway platform, I'm like, I remember that one time I heard that.
Yeah, it was a very popular. They very much popular. Like they wanted to know what his last meal was. So maybe we ask ourselves that because of him. But yeah.
That being said, I actually talk about this all the time. I've driven cross country a couple of times. When people ask me, where have you been, Alan, that I didn't know and I should go? The Oklahoma City Memorial, the federal building. I don't know if you've ever been there. It is one of the, I'm getting goose pimples. Like, it is one of the most peaceful, beautiful places I've ever been to, because the outer structure of the building is still there. They have this little, 2-inch pond with running water, and they have a chair for every person that unfortunately, died in the bombing. And then they have like 8 little chairs for the children that were affected. And then you go there, and it's just one of those, I'm not taking anything away from the 9/11 or anything else in the world, but that was the one place and I was just like, wow. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Like, it is such a cool place. And then they have a cute little fake man-made downtown. It's called Bricktown, where they have outdoor concerts. And I never thought in my life I'd spend a night in Oklahoma City, but I did.
I know. You are changing my whole view on this now.
It was cool. I don't recommend going there, but if you're ever thinking about driving cross country, you can go, I think, like 2 or 3 ways. That's the bottom way. And it was cool. I recommend it to anybody. It's very, very cool. You can see pictures online of it. I know people that have just seen that, and you'll get a little bit of how it feels. So I think that's really cool. But this podcast took a very morbid turn for the worse. So
we gotta.
So before we get into the more fun part of the show, I guess I'll just share real quickly my first beer, because I kind of like you grew up where like my dad always drank Coors or Michelob, and he was like, "Oh, you want a sip? Here you go." And I was like, I'm a beer, and I would drink a sip and go, "This is terrible. I don't never want to have this." So maybe that was my first beer, but I remember going to a crab feast. Being from Maryland, we're big seafood people, more than you lobster chowder heads up there, and they were serving, I think it was called Mad Dog or Red Dog. I forget. I'm blanking on what it was. I think it was Mad Dog. And I'm going to post a picture online. It's a can that has this ugly bulldog on it. I had 3 or 4 of them, and I was probably 15 years old and just going back to the cooler. And not a single parent there would ever say, what are you doing? Like, you're a child drinking this. But my parents were totally okay. They couldn't care less. My parents have always gone, they never supplied me with beer, but they've always gone with the theory of, we'd rather you drink under our roof than somewhere else and drive, and Lord knows that what could happen. And I think when I'm a parent, I'll figure out maybe my theory and philosophy, but I didn't think that was the worst thing growing up.
No, I think that you end up not rebelling at 18 and then just drinking yourself silly because you have no idea what it tastes like. Right? I mean, it prevents that, I think. So makes sense to me.
It does. The Europeans may have it figured out. So
did you like the beer at that time? Well, I'm like curious. Like, what was your like childhood memory of beer? Because mine was almost like it tasted like soda. Like, it was just a carbonated drink.
Again, keeping in mind this Red Dog beer was not very good. I didn't love it. I was just drinking it, I guess, to maybe get drunk or something. I mean, I was a child. I had no idea what I was doing. I don't know when I actually started really liking beer. 10 years ago, I guess, when I was really like, oh my God, I really love the flavor. If I get to choose beer or soda, I would have picked soda maybe about 10 years ago. And nowadays, soda's garbage. It's not good for you. And at least beer has natural flavors and stuff. So I'm more of a beer drinker now. I actually don't keep soda. I'm not anti-soda. I have one every now and then, but I do not keep soda in my house ever.
We don't keep soda in our house either, but I will say we do keep a lot of seltzer, and something that we've been drinking a lot is seltzer with CBD.
Okay.
Long Trail with the beer maker makes an awesome CBD seltzer. Totally recommend it. It has 20 milligrams of CBD. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but I feel calm afterwards. So I totally recommend it.
No, this is actually a really big thing now. A lot of places are making this. I know Kill Cliff is a big one. They make these CBD drinks that have like 25 milligrams. And I'm a CBD person, and I appreciate that you're talking about this. People are so stupid with CBD. They're like, I'm not getting high drinking soda.
I know.
I'm like, okay, there's no THC. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's obscene. It's really funny.
It really is. Every time I'm walking around with it, they're like, what are you going to get high? I'm like, no.
No, it's definitely not how it works. So, Liam, you've listened to enough episodes. These episodes generally finish out with a little bit of trivia. And I guess we didn't talk about it too much, but I have 5 questions prepared for you.
I love it. So I am a huge fan of trivia, but I know nothing. But I'm here for it. I'm ready to be uninformed.
That's okay, because I consider myself a quizmaster general here, and I don't make questions so obscene that like you're going to sit around and go, dude, I have no idea. Like they're going to be close enough. You'll get some guesses. Furthermore, I've seen you at a trivia before and you get a little rowdy.
I get super into it, super intense, very competitive for no reason at all. Absolutely no reason. I have no skills to back it up. That's what I have. That's what I bring to trivia is just energy, I guess.
Bringing the noise, bringing the funk.
Yep.
All right. So do you have a pen and paper to write stuff down? Okay. So you're just going to write it down and then we'll go over them. Cool?
Sounds good.
Question number 1. How many ounces of beer are in a growler? And I'm going to be nice and give you a plus or minus 5. So as long as you're within 5 of the right number, that's good.
You got it. Start with an easy ball. I love this. All right.
They get harder. Question number 2. Name America's oldest brewery. It's written on the label. The people there are obnoxious about it. America's oldest brewery.
Such a good question.
If you said the state, I would settle for that too. But
all right, such a good question.
I've been to numerous trivias and they ask this question.
That's something that I should know off the top of my head, and I'm like going through the list here of possibilities. Okay, I'm ready.
Question number 3. The German word Hefe, H-E-F-E, means what? Now, I'm going to give you a hint. It is one of the main ingredients in beer.
Got it.
Good?
I'm good. I think.
Jesus. I'm afraid you're just crushing these at this point. All right. Now, the next 2 are a little harder, but I'm going to give you multiple choice. So worst case, you just take a 25% chance guess. Yeah?
Yeah.
Number 4. According to the Japanese brewer, Kirin, it's probably like Karen, and this would be great. This is what we start calling Karens. Kirin, which country is the largest consumer per capita? Now, I'm going to read them in alphabetical order. A, Czech Republic. B, Ireland. C, Germany. D, Poland.
Oh, it's between 2. I know. Okay, I've got it narrowed down.
I mean, this isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You can't phone a friend or get a 50-50.
True.
Although, do you remember back when that dude, I forget his original name, he smoked that show and got to the final question and still had a lifeline left? And he said, can I call somebody real quick? And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Reed, R.I.P. Reed, pour one out. Yeah. And he calls his dad and goes, hey, Dad, guess what? I just won $1 million.
That was so badass.
That was baller. That was
so
great.
Baller. Yeah.
That was the biggest flex ever. It was awesome. I respect that. Unfortunately, you don't get that luxury.
Nope.
And question number 5, if you get this, good on you. Non-alcoholic beers typically have as much alcohol as which piece of fruit? A, banana. B, kiwi. C, pear. D, pineapple.
Oof. This is an amazing, wow. I have no idea. That's going to be just a wild guess.
Okay.
Love it. You are the master of making this trivia. I love this.
Thank you. We're going to go over them. My goal is most idiots should be able to get 3 of them. If you're better than 3, then that makes you more an expert on some stuff.
What if you don't get 3? What's below? You're just an idiot?
It depends. So enough of my friends, they comment on, wow, that was really hard, or how did that person not know this? And everybody's got comments. What I do tell my friends who listen to the show, it's a lot easier when you're sitting at home and you're doing whatever. It's very different when you're sitting under the lights, because I have my moments when Stephanie will quiz me and I'm like, I don't know. And afterwards, like, how did you not think of it? You're like, oh my God, we did this trivia the other week and I had the answer on my tongue and I just couldn't remember the name and I felt really stupid afterwards. So
totally. Thank you for giving me an out. Yeah, don't worry. If you get them all wrong, it's all good. All right, I think I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Question number 1, how many ounces in a growler?
64.
64 right on the money. Bing, 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 bing. Number 2, name America's oldest brewery.
I honestly don't know. Massachusetts, Sam Adams. I have no idea.
It's another East Coast state place. Come
And
down.
It's not Massachusetts?
It's not. Come south. More south.
Connecticut?
More south. It is Yingling.
Oh, God.
Yingling. Yings and Wings. If you see it on the bottle, it says like America's oldest brewery. Yeah, and people there are
Makes
so
sense.
obnoxious. It does, but that's okay. Number 3, the German word Hefe means what?
I've got three words that I can choose from.
You've got 3 words. Also, I think there's 3 ingredients in beer. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, all right.
All right, I'm nice. I'm nice. I'll give you 2 guesses. 2 guesses.
Okay. It's not malt.
It is not malt. The other thing.
Wheat. Hop. Damn it.
I thought you were going to say hops and then go for something else, but it's actually yeast.
Oh, jeez.
Yeast. Yeah, sorry.
One of the. You need yeast in beer.
You do need yeast in beer.
You
Question number 4. According to the Japanese brewer Karen, I'm calling him, or Karen, which country is the largest consumer per capita? Czech Republic, Ireland, Germany, Poland.
All right. I know it's one of these 2, and I'm going to be so upset if I choose.
Would you like to use your 50-50?
What is that? Then you're going to break it down?
I'm going to get rid of 2 of the wrong answers.
Well, I know that Ireland and Germany are out.
So I was going to give you Czech and Poland was going to be your 50-50.
Yeah.
So
I know it's Czech or Poland. Yeah. I know. So let's see. I'm going to go with Poland.
I'll give you another guess.
Prague. It's Prague. They drink a lot in Czech Republic. Dang it.
They do. Do you know what their native beer in Prague is? If you ever go in there and you say, give me your finest domestic beer, what you'll get?
What? No.
A Budweiser.
Like an actual Budweiser.
An actual Czech Budweiser. I used to bartend and somebody came in. They said, what are the domestic beers? We're from Czech. And I showed them the Bud, Coors, and I think Miller we had. And they're like, we brew Bud where we're from. And, because what's his name? Like Adolf Budweiser or whoever that guy back in the day. He was from there. So they have a Budweiser brewery in the Czech Republic in Prague. And that is very Czech when you go over there. It may be slightly different. I've never been to Czech, but if I did, I'd probably just get lost staring at the women there. But
beautiful. But wait, so they love it. They love Budweiser over there. Love
Budweiser. Yeah.
I read somewhere that in Prague, the average citizen drinks like 8 liters of beer a week.
So why did you say that for your answer then?
I know. I panicked and also thought the Polish people drink a lot of beer.
That might go with maybe the stereotype there. And number 5, non-alcoholic beers typically contain as much alcohol as which piece of fruit? Banana, kiwi, pear, or pineapple?
I'm just going to go with my gut, pear.
I tried to give you a little hint earlier. I dropped a banana reference when I was talking about the Hefeweizens and everything in there. I tried to make it known, but it's banana, actually. I did not know that. That was meant to be in case you really crushed the first 4, that was my out to be like, all right,
Wow. Well, I'm certifiably, I think, an idiot at this point. I think, you need to send me a sticker or something.
I would never say that because you're awesome and I love drinking beers with you. And I cannot wait until we get a chance to meet up and have some pizza and have some beers and have some laughs again.
I know. And until then, dude, you are spreading the joy with these podcasts. Sarah and I enjoy listening to them so much. You bring so much light and energy and vibrancy. So, keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we head out, is there anything you want to plug, anything you want to say in the world to anything? All, 8 million listeners we have.
8 million listeners. Whew. No, just enjoy yourself. This time sucks, but lean on the people that you love. I don't know.
I love that. Lean on the people you love is great advice because I have nothing else more to say to that. This was a longer episode, but I let people know that at the beginning. I said we're going to nerd out because we're nerds when it comes to beer, and I love drinking beer, and I love drinking beer with you. So anybody listening to this, make sure you download the episodes, give us a like, give us a rating, hit the subscribe. Thank you so much. Liam?
Alan, thank you so much.
Love you. Take it easy.